Hi, I'm Srilakshmi. I'm originally from the southern part of India and I moved to Scotland in 2015. I learned TM in Jan 2021 and I've been meditating ever since. So before learning TM, I was a very different person. I did things, I scored good marks, I had a great job, but I was deeply very unhappy. I couldn't sit with myself, with my thoughts. My mind was always, okay, what's the next thing to do? As a result of it, I just spent a lot of time at work, a lot of time away from myself, friends and drinking and the usual stuff that we do. And when I speak to someone about it, I realized that most of us or most of the people I spoke to were pretty much in a similar state, and it's fine. It's completely normal that we are stressed and there's this anxiety, and it's all fine. This all came a bit more to light during COVID lockdown. I could visibly see, I was living alone as well, and I could visibly see how I was trying to run away from my own thoughts, or I'm trying to keep the mind busy. I also was in a relationship during that time, and I used to project my insecurities on them. I almost expected them to fit a role that I had in my head. So I felt a stranger to my own life. I felt I was playing a role that someone else had for me, and similarly I expect other people to play the role that I had in my head. Over time, I just lost myself. I just broke down, ended the relationship, and pretty much everything came to a standstill in December 2020. That's when I was looking for a miracle, because I've almost exhausted listening to advice from folks, and I just needed something else that's much more. And that's what inspired me to learn TM. Yeah, on my first day, when I was actually going into the TM center, I felt a bit apprehensive. I wasn't sure. I was a bit confused. But when I met Angela, she was very warm, very welcoming. And I learned the technique, and I was so surprised of how simple and effortless it was. I was just like, I just do this every day and something would shift. I did not believe that would happen on the first day itself, but I knew I did the right thing. So after a couple of days, after doing TM every day, it was surprising how I could notice the benefits even after a couple of days. For example, I was noticing the trees around my house a bit more. The grass was greener, or just seeing different shades of green. And almost how I would explain it is some sort of a weird high, but just by sitting with myself. And I don't know, who wouldn't want that? And then over time as well, I could see my mind getting a bit more calmer. I was a bit more happier, more peaceful. I was able to sit with myself without as much conflict as before. And how this impacted my other areas of life was my mind wasn't looking for the next thing to be engaged with anymore. It was not always trying to, I realized almost I was trying to look for this happiness and peace more in the external world, and somewhere inside, now that I feel it inside me, I wasn't necessarily looking it in the outside world. So I wasn't working as much over time. I had much more deeper relationships with people. I progressed much more at work with lesser effort than before. Everything was flowing quite well. It was almost like I'm not going against anything. I'm almost in sync with life. I'm just letting things be and going in the same direction. It was a very different kind of, I think something inside changed. Nothing outside changed. I still have the same challenges, but there's something inside me that's looking at things in a different perspective. Like my biggest realization from all of this, and I get confirmed every single day as I'm doing the practice, is suffering is not normal. And I'm not talking about suffering which can be extreme depression or anything, but just even, you know, running the race of life and the anxieties of everyday life. It's not entirely normal. It's like the happiness and peace, and that's more normal, and we could still navigate through all the challenges of life and everything more from a much more peaceful state. And that is a very big realization for me. Before, I used to think that meditators were always those people living in caves or somewhere secluded, not in the regular modern world. But you know, after being in the TM community for a few days, and I got to meet a lot of different people from various walks of life. And the first thing that I notice when I meet any person who's meditating is the instant, honest, deep connection. It was very, very wonderful. It's such a subtle thing, and it's so easy to connect with people who are meditating. And also the TM Center in Glasgow brings this community together quite often with various events. There are a lot of knowledge sessions where they present us the scientific knowledge behind the technique that we are doing and how it helps evolve every day as we are evolving in the practice. And there are day retreats, weekend retreats, yoga sessions, and you know, delicious food, etc. But it's very nice being involved in this community, which I call my second home. I'm very grateful. If I have to summarize everything in one word, I would say it's almost like honey. It's very hard to put the experience in words. Taste it for yourself. Like worst case, let's try it for a few weeks and then see how it goes. And the worst case would be we would have just spent a few minutes with ourselves every day. We spend so much time cleaning the outer world, cleaning our house, laptops, cars. Why not spend a few minutes cleaning our inner world for a few minutes every day? After all, that's the only true thing that can never be really taken away from us.